Welcome back to another video on data to decisions. In this video, we will continue from the previous three videos where we'll be building the stock price history chart, which is interactive, dynamic, and pulls in live stock market data from Microsoft Service. You do need Microsoft 365 subscription in order to pull that history live from the service. But if you do, then you can use this approach that I've been walking through in a 5-part series. In this fourth part of the series, we are going to be building this interactive slicer where you can change the chart to look back 6 months of history, or you can look back at, for example, year to date or 1 year of history. So you can just click the slicer button and let Microsoft Excel go and pull the live data from the service and build this chart for you. So this is what we'll be doing in this video. Let's get started. Now, I'm going to go to the second sheet where we are building some helper information which are used for the chart. So I'm going to go here and then start typing in our period option. So I'm going to call it period. I'm going to do 5 days at a time. I could do 1 month or I could do month to date. So maybe I'll do month to date first, 1 month. And then I can do 3 months, 6 months, let's say 1 year, and then we could do, let's say, no, let's do year to date, and then 1 year, and then 5 years. Again, you can expand this into more options once you understand the concept. As we write the formulas, you're free to change these to different period options. So I'm going to select all of them, press Ctrl T, click on My Table Has Headers. So we have a table now, and as the table is selected, go to Insert and then put Pivot Table. And I'm going to use existing worksheet, and I'm going to put the pivot table right here, say OK, drag and drop the period. So this gives us a pivot table, and click inside the pivot table, go to Insert Slicer, click on period, press OK, and now we have a slicer. As you click on the slicer, the cell B30 for me, this is where the selection is getting recorded. So this is great so far. So let's just give a name to the cell. So I'm going to click on that cell, which is B30, and I'm just going to call it I underscore period, which is what the user is selecting as a period they want to see. Now, how do I convert this into a starting date? Before I do that, I want to explain how the starting date needs to be. So, for example, if you have, let me type a formula equals today, right? This is today's date. And all of this, let me just put the date formula format, something that everybody across the world can easily understand. So 7th March. Okay, so today is 7th March when I'm recording this video. So now what I will give a name to this today. So I can go click on the cell in the name box here. I'm just going to type in TD for today. Again, just trying to make things easier. It's optional, but so TD is today's date. Now, if I want my stock price history chart to start from for 5 days, where does my start date need to be? So I'm going to type in TD, which is today, minus 4. So if I start from the 3rd of March, I have 3rd to 7th, so 5 days of history, right? And so if I wanted to do month to date, so the month to date will be, I wanted to start from the beginning of the month. So you could do multiple ways. So I'm going to do end of month of today, which is TD, comma, -1. This will take us back to the end of the previous month, right? But I wanted to start from the beginning of this month. So I will do +1, give me the 1st of March. What if the user selects 1 month? I want to look at the history of 1 month. So in this case, I will use a simple formula to say e date of TD, comma, -1. So let's see what it gives us. It gives us 7th February. So 7th February to 7th March. If it is 3 months, what do I do? E date of TD minus 3. So that gives us 3 months. Same thing, I'll just do 6 for 6 months. Year to date, I want to go to the beginning of the year, so I will use a different formula. So I will do date of year of today, which is 2024 right now. But for the year to date, it's always, the month is always January when the year begins, comma, And the month day is always the 1st of January. So I'm just going to type in 1 comma 1, and this will give us 1 Jan. What if they type in 1 year? I want to go back. E-date today, comma, minus 12. So it goes back 12 months to March of 2023. Now, if it is 5 years, I'm going to do TD, comma, minus 60. So 5 years, 60 months. So that puts us back to 2019. So what we have done so far is understand what the dates need to be if the user selects one of these. But the user is going to only select one. We need to make sure that we pick the starting date from here, right? So let's just type in selected start date is what? So we'll do a simple switch function to say I underscore period. So I underscore period is nothing but the cell B30, which is right now 1M, right? So whatever is in the value in that cell, if it is, let's say, 5D, then use the value in this cell D18 as the starting date. What if it is month to date? Then we can do this. What if it is 1M? Then we use this date. You get the pattern there. So I'm sure there might be a more, if you have a lot more options, there is a more dynamic way to do this rather than me typing out every single thing. But we only have a few, so this works. And this also gives you a clear idea, what is happening and why we are doing this. So let's continue this for a few more seconds, year to date. And then I can also do 1Y, comma, if the user chooses 1Y, use that date. And then if the user chooses 5Y, or 5 years again, comma, just do this. Now, by default, I want to give a value. So by default, I always want to see, let's say 6 months. So I can choose this option, right, 6 month as my default value. So I'm going to press close parenthesis. So now it gives me a date. Let's change the format so that we can see the date. There you go. So when let's test it out. So if I'm changing it to 1 year, you see that it changed to for 7th March. If I do 3 months, December, 5 days. So clearly it's reacting to the slicer. So now that we have identified where the chart needs to start, all I need to do is to connect this to our chart. Right now, this is completely disconnected. So in order for this to be connected, we need to, I would like to give a name to this. So for example, I will say this cell is called C underscore start date. I use the C prefix because we are calculating it. So C for calculation. Again, you're welcome to name it however you would like. And now I can go to the main sheet here, and then in the start date formula, I can just type equals C underscore start underscore date. Okay, so now we have monthly, it starts from here. So let's say daily, and we have daily history. Now, because the slicer is in the other sheet, so I can go back here, Control X to cut the slicer, come back here, paste it, and now, because we are doing month to date, so what if I do 6 months? There we go. So 6 months, you can see that the start date is changing. And when this start date changes, the stock history function starts pulling more data from that start date. That's basically it. And then from there, the chart will get the data from this formula. So all of them are connected now. Again, click on the slicer, go to the slicer, change this to, let's say, let's take a look at this. We'll do 0.5 as the height and maybe 4.5 is the width. And then we can expand the chart as well. I'm assuming this is the only thing you'll have on the sheet, not much information else. So you can make the chart as big as one if you want to be able to clearly see a lot of history. Now, I don't want the header, so I'm going to go display header. The other thing, just like we did the daily, weekly, monthly, I want to make sure that this is in the right sequence. So right now it's not 1 month, 1 year, 3 months, 5 days. So clearly not in any order. So what we're going to do here, just like we did the daily, weekly, monthly, I'm going to go back here, select all of these values, go to File, Options, and this will allow us to go to Advanced, go down to the Custom List, and then it's already selected these values. So just hit Import. Okay. Okay. There we go. Go back to the chart, right click, slicer settings, descending, and then do ascending again. There we go. So now I think we are missing the 5 years. So what I'm going to do is increase the number of columns, 8 columns. There we go. So 5 days of history, month to date, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and then 1 year to date, which is from the beginning of the year, and then 1 year, and also 5 years. At the beginning, Microsoft only had like up to 5 years of history. Now it looks like we have a lot more. But anyway, if you want more, you can change the formula. Instead of 5 years, you can make it 10 years and so on. But basically, we have built a dynamic and interactive stock price history chart, pulling live data from Microsoft service, changing the dates automatically with the slicer, changing the period interval to daily, weekly, monthly, automatically the minimum point and the maximum point. So we've accomplished almost everything we wanted. In the next video, we'll be building the volume bars at the bottom, red and green volume bars based on the price change. So with that will complete this stock price history chart with all the functionality we wanted to build. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you have any suggestions, please put them in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon in the next one.